success and pay.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not successful, then you won't get paid what you're successful for.
Some people get motivated when there's competition and step their game up, and some people just fold. And if the type of person going to fold when competition shows up in the room, then
that might not be the guy you want on your team.
You know, it's one thing to there's a competition there, and maybe you don't win. You know, that's okay. Like if someone's just better than you, fine.
Then what are you going to do? I mean,
your only choice is to try and get better yourself. But
exactly.
When you just fold to the competition,
that's a different story. It's like, well, maybe he's not the guy that we thought he was.
Yeah.
You know, and even then, there are some guys who still stay mediocre and not, because I've said this over and over again about Alex Smith. When the game is on the line and you're down like 10 points, he's not the guy who's going to win the game for you.
Yeah, it's tough. I know he's done it before, so the people that are going to start yelling at us now, like, yes, I know he's done it before.
He has.
I remember the comeback the Niners had against the Saints, I think, in the playoffs. But that's it's more of an outlier than
it's a few and far between type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you put him in that position again, will he do it again? It's not like, okay, for example, it's not like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, if you put the two together and said, I need 7 points to win the game, I need a touchdown to win the game, who are you going to put in? Aaron Rodgers or Alex Smith?
Well, everybody knows that. It's just Rodgers.
It's just Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Who are you going to put in? Tom Brady or Alex Smith?
Now, here's another question for you. Would you rather, if you need a touchdown to score, you got like a minute left, would you rather have Alex Smith, but he gets the ball in the 50, or Aaron Rodgers, but he's got the ball in the other 20?
Aaron Rodgers
I
with
think
the ball in the other 20.
I think I still take Aaron Rodgers.
Well, because
even from the 5, probably, I think I'd probably
give it to him at the
and
1.
that's, I mean, just I'd say statistically speaking, just mathematically, obviously you want the ball in the 50.
Yeah.
But man,
because he's okay, and this is the thing
that
makes
damn
a huge,
Cowboy game with Aaron Rodgers.
That makes a huge difference. Where you look at it and you say to yourself, "Here's a guy who is doing the impossible, and here's a guy who is doing the plausible."
Yeah.
Do I want a guy who can perform miracles, or do I want a guy who is just going to go out there and complete catches? Completing catches can lead to winning the game if you're successful at completing catches. But when you're playing at a high level deep in the playoffs, you're not playing against the Titans or the Bucks. You're playing against the Steelers and the Patriots, who have schemes wrapped around these types of plays that prevent those things from happening. You want a guy who can go out and perform the impossible, because no matter how much a team defense is prepared, nobody's prepared for the impossible. And if you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or even Peyton Manning who can go out there and do the impossible, that's who you want on your team.
Yeah.
That pretty much like just ends any argument of saying, well, I want Trent Dilfer on my team. No, you don't. I don't know anybody who says, I want Seneca Wallace on my team because he looks like he has good fundamentals and intangibles. No.
Skip Bayless will say it just to piss you off.
Skip Bayless will say
I disagree.
He'll say it just so he can be argumentative.
Just to piss people off.
Yeah. He just wants ratings.
Yeah.
That's totally different. But one of the better comparisons to have is, who do you want on your team? Do you want Derek Carr or do you want Aaron Rodgers? That is a much more complete argument that can go either way.
Yeah. There'll be different factors and stuff that people will want to bring in to know more. Like, well, what about this? What receivers or what team or is this a long-term thing or just now?
Is it right now?
But when it's
like the mediocre receivers, when it ends up being like guys like Joe Flacco, or regardless if you won a Super Bowl, because that was all defense who won that Super Bowl. Defense and special teams.
If the entire defenses like went into the Hall of Fame, if they had like Hall of Fame defenses, like that defense would be a Hall of Fame defense.
It would be the Ravens twice over.
Yeah.
And then it would be the Bears, the Ravens twice over. That's what it comes down to. But you look at it and you say, okay, do I want Matthew Stafford on my team? How many playoff games has he won? How many Super Bowls does he have? How often do you put the game on the line for this guy to get the win? And how many times has he come up short? How many times has he won? I mean, but that's what it'll end up boiling down to. And you don't want guys who aren't proven winners. I mean, to pass up a guy who's a proven winner for somebody who hasn't proven to win, it's foolish just because you got a man crush on him.
Yeah.
You have to think about that long and hard. So, with that said, the Bears having like the worst draft, even though no matter how many draft picks the Cleveland Browns have, to me they'll still have the worst draft no matter what every single year.
Until proven otherwise.
They can have 30 first-round picks in a row, and they'll still find a way to lose and have the first pick overall the next year.
Yeah.
Who had the best draft?
Man.
It's tough because we know who won the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, easily the Niners, but you look at
the Niners did really well, and I mean, you know, the opposite side of your point, like I like the Browns draft, but you know, it's one of those things like, you know, you've been burned in the past, you know, by the Browns or even the Jaguars too. Like, same thing, you can get burned by the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Always seem to do well, like with the draft. For some reason can't put it together during the season. I like what the Browns did, like trading back and instead of reaching for Trubisky.
Yeah.
Like, and another thing, like, I'm glad that they didn't trade for what's his face, the Patriots quarterback.
Garoppolo.
Yeah, Garoppolo. I don't get it. I don't get what the craze was, and I guess I was reading a report that they had offered them like their 12th, their first rounder, their 12th pick overall.
Wow.
And the Patriots said no.
Jeez.
I don't get it. Like, I don't see why.
I
don't see like what he's done that has been so special either. Like, yeah, he played for the Patriots and he did well. Okay,
So did Matt Castle.
yeah. How Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good too. You know, when
Matt
when
Barkley
he was
looked
playing.
pretty good.
Yeah. So why would you throw away all these assets to me for something that is probably not going to pan out in Garoppolo? And if Brady wants to play, he said he wants to play till he's like, what, 42, 43, 44? Like,
Shit, he'll probably play till
Garoppolo's
he's
going
50.
to end up hitting free agency.
Oh, yeah.
So
You
let's
save it.
Let it happen, dude, and throw a bunch of money at him. That doesn't mean he's going to come, but throw a bunch of money at him.
No.
Or the amount of assets is going to cost you to get Garoppolo. Forget that, dude. Use those assets to get you a quarterback out of next year's draft class. Like I was saying, like Sam Darnold. You know, nobody really expects the Browns to finish with a top record, but let's just say, for argument's sake, let's just say they go 8-8. They have those all the players they drafted still look like they're going to pan out. They're still missing a lot of pieces, so they go 8-8.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're picking in the middle of the first round. Darnold's going to be, like, let's say he's the number one pick. He stays on track. He's going to be the number one pick. You now have, you know, what do they have? They have 2 first rounders next year, and I think 2 seconds. Like, they got a bunch of ammo. They have a lot of picks next year too.
Mm-hmm.
They could easily move those to move up and get the quarterback that will be a legit quarterback of their future. And I don't think anyone would blame them for making that move for an elite prospect.
And even then, you got to look at like some of the teams that do still have need at quarterback and look at your position in the draft as opposed to their position in the draft. I mean, if they do have a need at quarterback, like let's say the Niners. Let's say the Niners also finish like 8-8 or maybe 7-9, and let's say they finish 8-8, but they're ahead of the Browns, you know, by 1 pick. Then you can like, you know, fire it off and say, okay, let's trade up ahead of the Niners so they don't get the quarterback that we want.
Yeah. And then you know what? There's even the chance that everyone keeps talking about the Niners, you know, maybe being tied to Kirk Cousins next year. That happens. That's one less team that needs a quarterback.
Yep.
And all these teams that took quarterbacks this year that reached for them, you know, I think some of them are going to be right back in the beginning of the draft next year.
The Bears.
And they just won't be able to draft, you know, another quarterback. Like, they just gave up a bunch of stuff for it.
Yeah, they won't have the power to do it.
Yeah, they're locked in. They're locked in on that quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
the Bears could end up, like I said, could be picking the top 3 next year, and they're not going to have a quarterback. So,
But let's say, you know, he pans out. It's great. He pans out. He does good his first year. Next year, in their draft, they don't have the ammo to put pieces around him. They have to look in free agency and pick guys that were dropped by other teams or testing the waters for free agency. At that time, then you have to look. It's like, oh man, I got to spend first round money on a free agent. Fuck, I don't want to do that. I mean, he's probably going to be. He probably only wants to be around for like 2 years, and wants like super high guaranteed money. It doesn't make any logistical sense to do that, and bankroll on these guys who have no loyalty to a team.
Yep.
So, who is your favorite player in the draft, regardless of which team that went? Because I know mine.
Well, my favorite player was Reuben Foster. I was rooting for him to end up on the Raiders as a Raider fan, but I've been saying all along, if he falls to the picks like 14, 15, 16, trade up and go get him, because that's someone that could have an immediate impact on your defense like right away.
Mm-hmm. Change the game, probably.
Yeah, and that didn't happen for us. I like some of the running backs this year too. I think someone who might end up being a steal probably is like Samaje Perine with the Redskins.
Yeah, especially with the Redskins in flux with their running backs.
Yeah, I think he'll end up taking that job. I think he'll do great this year, probably. Probably better than expected as far as the round and everything that he was taking in.
Well, like not only the round, but his performance, like at the combine and pro day and things like that. It really didn't look too impressive to me. But I know he plays better than that.
Yeah, his bench though, he won the bench for the running backs, but we knew he was a power back.
Yeah, he's like 250, right? 250, 240.
No, he's smaller than that.
Smaller,
yeah.
Really?
But
he was bigger than me.
He, I think with Cousins there, they lost some receivers this year in free agency. But they
still got Jordan Reed.
Yeah, still got Jordan Reed. I like Jamison Crowder. I think he's going to produce a little more this year.
He was like the little engine that could last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't expect him to do what he did.
Especially with like Garcon and Sean Jackson.
Yeah, and he outshined him a few times.
Yeah. So I think with some of those guys gone, he's got have more opportunities this year. But I think with the Redskins now, to me, they have a legit running back.
It's something they haven't had in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Even when they had Alfred Morris, I still wasn't high on him because he just seemed like a journeyman running back who was put in a really good situation.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis was the same. He wasn't the same player he was when he played in Denver, but he was the running back that they could afford to have at that time. Because they weren't fortunate enough to have picked a running back because they weren't put in a position during the drafts that were available for them to pick a running back that could outshine anybody. Yeah. So now they actually have somebody who's talented, coming from a big college that can actually because Perine played in a pro system.
Yeah.
So he's used to it. So he knows. So don't have to worry about whether or not he's going to be able to adapt to the pro lifestyle in terms of the plays and things like that in the NFL. So I don't have to worry about any of those things. I think they kind of lucked out.
Yeah, and he put up big numbers, in college, especially when you think about he played with Joe Mixon the whole time too, and Mixon was taking care. Mixon ended up going ahead of him,
And
different types of running backs though, but I think he's going to do well there, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to love having a running back like that.
Yeah, I think he's going to enjoy that really good, really nice. My favorite player was Taco Charlton. Taco. As soon as I saw him get drafted, because I didn't expect him to get drafted in the first round.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna get drafted second, maybe the third. I didn't think it was gonna be.
He kind of started climbing up draft boards. At least when you're looking at mock drafts, I noticed he was kind of moving up higher and higher.
Well, and especially when you look at that name, Taco. I mean, how do you not take a guy named Taco with that kind of talent?
Yeah.
You have to. This is my favorite player.
He's not the first Taco in the NFL. I remember
That's
that.
true.
I think Kansas State had a receiver named Taco Wallace. I think was his name. Mm-hmm. I don't remember 100% for sure, but I remember there being another Taco.
Yeah. But it was good. It makes me wonder how he got the name Taco.
I don't know.
Dude, if I ever met him, I'd ask him, how'd you get the name Taco?
Yeah.
Freshman dorm?
I know. It's-
Sneaking from room to room. I got you, buddy. I know exactly what you're doing.
Maybe he ate like a whole grande meal in like 5 minutes or something.
Like all 12 tacos?
Yeah.
Ooh, from Taco Bell?
Yeah, maybe.
I almost did that one.
Just a theory.
Yeah, I remember I was unemployed and I was like going to Taco Bell. I was like super duper hungry, and this was like during the time when it was like months before I went to the hospital, and I was like, man, dude, I'm like super fucking hungry. Man, that fucking grande meal at Taco Bell looks good. 12 of them for how much? Yeah, go ahead and give me that.
Yeah.
I almost ate it. I think I had like 2 or 3 left.
That's a good little, like, a little thing to bring to a party, too. Like, if someone's like, oh, I don't know, just we got food, just bring whatever. Just go pick up a grande meal. Like,
Yeah, it's
no one's expecting it either when you do. Like, everyone's always like pizza or,
chips.
you know, you're bringing some chips and salsa or you show up with a grande meal, like,
You're the life of the party, dude.
brought a grande meal? All right.
So guys are impressed and women want to sleep with you.
This
Like,
guy one
what?
time brought probably 12 or 15 burgers from Burger King, like from the dollar menu. He's like, I don't know, just bring whatever, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, I'll bring over 15 McDoubles, and it's just like,
Oh, it was from
you know,
McDonald's.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
yeah.
I brought like 12 of them, and I just laid them out all across. Like, just enjoy. I felt like a king. Just make it rain cheeseburgers. Oh, it's all greasy. It's greasy. It was that and the soda. Woo-hoo. How many did I bring that one time? I brought like 4 12 packs.
Oh yeah, something like that. You
And I
drink
kept-
like half of them.
Yeah, something like that.
Back in your
Like a soda
diabetes stage.
stage 2 diabetes, even though it doesn't exist.
They made stage 3 after that.
DEFCON 3.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. DEFCON 3.
All right. So how about a pick that surprised you?
Pick that surprised me.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I mean, we'll cut out the Bears pick. I think that surprised a lot of people. Some people weren't surprised though after they did move up. There was a couple of picks, you know, that surprised me. One, I'll say the Chiefs moving up,
Yeah.
giving up a lot of assets, and they got Mahomes, and I was totally surprised when we were watching the draft and after they made the trade. You know, everyone tries to play detective, and it was like, you know, I think they're going this or that, or you know.
Because you would think like when I saw the trade go in, and I didn't know who was going to get picked, and I thought like legit that they were going to go after Reuben Foster because Houston's getting older, and Derrick Johnson's getting older too, and he would just kind of fit like a glove on an already stacked defense.
Yeah,
that would have just been a success to win.
And that's that crossed my mind too. I think he's a top 5 prospect who slipped. But then, yeah, I was thinking, I was telling people, you know what, like, the Chiefs' window, of opportunity is now to win. Like, they won a very tough AFC West. Their opportunity to win is, like, right now. Yeah. So if I was moving up like that, I'd probably be taking a player that's going to help me win right now, that puts you over the hump, And I thought, like, okay, well, what could they use that would really do that for them? And I was thinking Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's got to be Dalvin Cook,
I didn't think that they would be high.
They just cut Jamal Charles.
Mm-hmm.
They got Spencer Ware and I can't remember the other one.
Charkandrick.
Yeah, Charkandrick West.
Charkandrick.
Charknado. That was the nickname. But
because he fouled the ball out.
Yeah, I thought Dalvin Cook. I was like, as a Raider fan, I was worried about that though. And I was like, oh.
I thought they were going to grab a receiver to help out Alex Smith because
he doesn't like throwing to receivers.
He doesn't. He likes running backs. Right?
Yeah, running backs and tight ends. That's what he throws to.
Or he likes to throw it out of bounds to players on the bench.
Are.
He's like, oh, dude, don't go that far.
Yeah,
come back.
I thought, because Fournette was gone and McCaffrey had gotten taken already. Some people thought Dalvin Cook was the best running back, on their. I seen some people like Dalvin Cook was the best or Fournette. I seen those two flip flop. Most consensus had Fournette as number 1, so I made Cook at 2 and McCaffrey at 3. So I thought, okay, they're getting Dalvin Cook. Like now they got a great running back, and then and Dalvin Cook, he can catch the ball out of the backfield too. And Andy Reid loves those types of running backs. And you look at how the Eagles performed, like Brian Westbrook. He'd run the ball, he can catch the ball, like all-purpose back.
Yeah.
So I thought that was okay. This is like an Andy Reid type dude, so he can throw it to this guy too. And then it was a quarterback. It was just like, whoa, like.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising. And what I want to know. I have to know. What was Kiko's reaction?
He was quiet.
He didn't say nothing.
He just.
He wasn't mad or upset or anything.
He was, but it looked like he didn't really want to show it. He was just kind of quiet, like just
poker face,
shocked, Kiko is a Niner / Chiefs fan. He's really
Alex Smith
claims Niner fan, wears all Niner stuff, but he was a big time Alex Smith supporter. So
he wanted him to succeed so bad.
So he roots for them too. For now, I guess. Once Alex Smith is gone, he'll probably. But
the guy in the draft I thought was a surprising pick was when the Broncos picked Bowles. I literally thought they were gonna go Cam Johnson.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna go Cam because he's like honestly he's better than Bowles. I think he's more athletic. He's able to move around, and he would have helped out any quarterback that would have played for him.
We rented a house that was like two levels.
Them picking
and it had a
Bulls,
pool
it kind of felt
table,
like they
it had
let
a
something
spa,
good slip away.
And all of that. They were down there like little pool hustlers.
And they let him slip away to a really bad team.
So
So horrible. Because the Jags, they're not really going to know what to do with him. I mean, he's going to help. He's going to do what he can. But it's kind of like the Leonard Fournette thing.
We'll see. That could be the final piece to finally turn the Jags around to Fournette pans out the next level. But, they're saying Bortles, did well in college and was able to use the play action offense.
Yeah.
Jags haven't really had that type of presence in the running game to really pull off any type of legit play action. But this could be Bortles' last run with the team. If those turnovers keep staying up,
he'll be gone. Yeah,
he'll be gone, and there'll be some good rookie quarterbacks next year. Yeah, that would take that team over and take it to the next level. So people are talking the Jags could possibly go quarterback this year. But
I think that's what a lot of people wanted to see.
Yeah, I think I'd give Bortles another run though this year, and especially with the running game doing now possibly being intact. But if it doesn't work out, then that's it for him.
Axed. Done deal.
Yeah, that would suck for them though when you think about spending 2 early picks on a quarterback and not getting anything out of it. So it sets a franchise back when you miss on those.
That's true. One of my favorite receivers, because I was talking about it earlier, was Zay. It's like I was asking you. When you look for a receiver, I mean, touchdowns and yards are nice, but what's the main purpose of a receiver?
You gotta catch the
football.
You gotta catch it.
Yeah, and when the Bills picked up Zay in the second round, they moved up to get him, and they picked him up. I thought to myself, dude, that's exactly who they would want. I thought Zay would have probably got picked up by legitimately any other team that needed a receiver.
It looked like he was probably going to go to the end of the first round maybe. I thought so, especially once the receivers went real fast. Like all the receivers went really fast. Those top 3 that everyone was talking about. I thought Zay Jones probably get taken near the end of the first. But I like the Bills draft this year too. They got Tre'Davious White in the first.
Tre'Davious White
and replaced Gilmore.
Yeah.
So that fixes that.
And then they go after the other need, which was wide receiver.
Everyone was also talking about them, like, oh, they could be the team that goes quarterback in the first round. But you know what? They didn't reach. They actually traded back, got picks for next year. So now, and they got a first rounder next year too.
Well, now they got 2 first rounders.
Yeah, so now they got 2 first rounders, and
they have power to move up and get a quarterback if they need to.
When you think about the Chiefs, with their selection, they didn't do anything that's going to help them this year. So, there's a chance that they could regress a little bit. They didn't really get to fix anything big, I guess.
Major.
They could have made a big impact with that first pick that they had, but that's supposed to help them down the road. That doesn't help them now.
Yeah, my favorite thing this year is going to be rooting for the Chiefs to lose a lot this year.
Yeah.
So that we get an early pick.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yep. And then, like I said, you can get one of those top quarterbacks in next year's draft, and there you go.
It'll be a beautiful moment, and then success will come.
Yeah, I think if you do that, if they're planning on getting the quarterback next year, they've been talking about the Bills not picking up Sammy Watkins' 5th-year option. I think you have to.
Yeah,
you got to pick
point.
up that 5th-year option. Especially if you're thinking about getting a quarterback next year, you want to have as many weapons next to him as possible to help his production and his progression. Now I know Sammy Watkins has had a hard time staying healthy, but you know what? I think you just got to do it. You got to.
He's the guy. Well, I mean, injury aside, he's the guy that shows that when you need the impossible done, he can do it. And even when you count him out completely, and you're thinking to yourself, fuck Sammy Watkins, I'm going to bench him on a fantasy team or whatever. Out of nowhere, he'll throw up 3 touchdowns, and it makes you hate him more. But at the same time, I mean, really, do you want to pass on that? Do you really want to pass on a guy who, when you really need him to do it, he's going to do the job?
Yeah, and he still draws the number 1 corner on the team every week. Unless you play a team where the cornerback doesn't move around, but that's another.
Which is gonna make it great for Zay Jones, because it's the way I see it, it's like an identical situation where the Oakland Raiders have, where they have the number 1 guy, and
Crabtree. Well, he was
Crabtree's the guy that will catch the ball, and you can rely on him to run his route and catch the ball in the slot, and then you got Amari Cooper, who's gonna draw guys away from Michael Crabtree.
In the beginning, though, you think about it was probably flipped. It was Crabtree that was drawing probably the number 1 guy, and then Cooper not drawing the number 1 guy until you kind of start proving it on the field and get that respect. But that's good, for a rookie to find early success.
Yeah.
It builds their confidence, and even if they start getting the number 1 the number 1 coverage,
they start feeling a little bit more looser. They feel like more of a leader. They feel like they can take a little bit more chances than they wouldn't have if they get sacked 20 times a game.
Yeah. So I think you gotta pick up the 5th-year option on Sammy Watkins. I don't know how much it costs, but do it.
Yeah. Just do it. Just go into it.
Just do it, and then when you get let's say they move on, get a different quarterback next year. He has another weapon. If it works out and the quarterback and him find chemistry together, then now okay, now we got to keep him. If it doesn't seem like it's working out, then maybe move on and get another receiver. But at least Zay Jones will be there.
Yeah, he'll be there for a good 4 years.
You guys got a good running game too, so that's also good for a young quarterback. You got a running game.
Yeah, if you got a running game, take all that pressure off. You got LaShawn, because LaShawn McCoy can turn a hole that does not exist into something that does. You give him that much daylight. A butt hair. Give him that much daylight, he'll squeeze through it and he'll pick up 20 yards. That's the beautiful thing about a guy like that. That's why I thought I was pseudo hoping that they would get Cam, so that way they can get a little bit more help on the offensive line, because it's always been a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad about what they have now, because now they have somebody to open things up.
Yeah.
Which reminds me,
This is all in October when we do it.
Mike Gillislee going to the Patriots.
Me and my husband end up hating each other.
That hurts. It hurts the Bills very little. Helps me a lot because I got LaShawn McCoy. But it makes me fucking infuriating, because now the Patriots have probably one of the fastest running backs that they've had in a long time.
Yeah. You just never know when they're going to use them though either.
That's true.
Patriots.
Because they have White, they have Gillislee, and then they have what's his name? Kevin.
I forget, because they always.
You don't know who's up next. But yeah, and the one thing Brady likes to do is he likes to check down all the time.
Yeah.
So those are going to be all three of those running backs. It's like you never know who's going to either get the ball or who they're going to run the game plan around.
Yep. And then there's always the chance that they resign LeGarrette Blount too. You know.
Do you think that happens?
I don't know. I mean, the
Oh, wait,
more
do
and
you
more
want it
he
to
has
happen?
to wait, you know.
Well,
Especially-
he's 30.
yeah.
I mean, that's working against him. He's not Adrian Peterson. I
no.
don't care how many touchdowns he has in a year.
Yeah, he just had a bunch of
Which
goal
remind-
line touchdowns, you know.
Cheap touchdowns.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, how... Give me your thoughts on LeGarrette Blount. Tell them your thoughts on LeGarrette Blount. Especially right now, not having a job.
Total piece of trash, dude. Just,
LeGarrette Blount.
yeah, I mean, I kind of not liked him for a long time now, but it's just he's trash, and it's just not surprising to me that there's really not many conversations about where he might end up at or who he's going to sign with. I mean, I've heard maybe the Giants, and then I guess there's always a chance the Patriots do it, but the Giants went out and drafted a running back. They drafted one last year too, so you know, unless he goes cheap somewhere, you know, that's the only way he's going to get on. Look at all these teams, the way they've been treating the veteran running backs this past year, like
Just throwing him to the side.
You know, I thought AP was going to get a little more interest. He basically just got on a team. Like I thought he was going to aim for like a contender, and he did, but a lot of the contenders were like, no thanks, and so he just ended up on the team, on the Saints, who aren't really like a playoff team or anything.
But they're not even a running back friendly team.
Yeah, I mean they got Mark Ingram, and so I was like, okay, well, he's gonna be splitting, but then they just drafted Kamara too.
Yeah.
So
It's not like it's strange because it's not like Adrian Peterson's going to be the focal point like he used to be on the Vikings. No matter what anybody says, they change whatever the game plan is. No, their game plan is going to be the same. They're going to spread it out to 3 running backs all the time, every time. I'd be surprised if Adrian Peterson gets to 200 carries.
Oh.
That'd be a lot. That'd be, oh
Yeah.
my God, it's a success.
I don't see it at all.
No, hell no.
I see him maybe getting like 110, 120 or something.
At the most.
Yeah,
That sounds
I
about
mean,
right.
the rookie's gonna get a little bit of work too, you know. So, and you know, also sprinkling back on the veteran running backs. Look at Jamal Charles.
Yeah, he's
got
not even on
like
the team.
no interest. It seems like.
And I'd be surprised because I thought like the Lions might have jumped on it.
Yeah,
Because it seems like he would fit on the Lions perfectly.
yeah. I mean, I know he had like the knee injuries, you know, and
Yeah,
they have last year. You know, after him coming back or trying to, and it was not pretty, and they shut him down. Was it a second surgery that he needed or something?
second surgery. And he didn't heal from it correctly.
Yeah, so
I mean, he might not have he might be sitting with Garrett Blount.
him in his
Timeshare.
prime is very diverse running back, and you got to remember too when he was on the Chiefs, it was like